Good evening to you, man. All the way, Joe Page. Come to you live on YouTube. Well, I got some bad news to tell y'all, folks, and especially if you follow WMA and the UFC. And well, as you know, I'm a fan of Randa Marcos, and she has a upcoming fight against Luana Pinho, if I get her name right. Pinho, whatever name she is. I'm sorry. She's an upcoming young Brazilian fighter. And this is another prospect that the UFC thrown at uh, um, Randa Marcos to fight. And well, the bad news is that Quiet Storm tested positive for COVID-19. Now she's supposed to have fought on with against Conejo and on UFC 260, and I think that's supposed to be at the end of this month. And well, because of her positive test, she has been pulled off the 260 card. So I'm a fan of Randa Marcos, and she's been around for a long time. Her record's not too good in UFC. For quite some time, she wins, she lose, she wins, she lose. But since the last year or so, she's been on pretty much on a three-fight losing streak. She lost against Amanda Ribas, and Ribas, was considered another top prospect. Then she lost against Mackenzie Dern, which was I don't know why she did that. This was easy. She could have just kept it standing and beat Dern, but she knows Dern's one of the was the best BJJ artist. I mean, don't assume anything that you think you got an easy win because you can no, that was her fault. I'm gonna say it like that. And then there was against Marata, where she lost that fight. So she hadn't been doing too good the past three fights, but she's been game to fight. She fought at least about four times last year, I believe. And I think that's the only reason why she's still in the UFC roster. I'm surprised she hasn't got cut yet. But this her tested positive COVID might be a reason they might decide to cut her. I don't know. But so instead of as you know, Luana Pereiro is still a young prospect, and as you know, she fought under contender, and she beat her opponent by a first round TKO. And as being a young prospect, there was both her fight against Randa Marcos was going to be her debut in the UFC. So they decided to try to find her another opponent, and that's probably not too bad. I mean, it's better for somebody else to take an opportunity to take a whooping instead of just always Randa Marcos being the whooping girl. So who thinks should be a good opponent for her? Well, it's always Hannah Cyphers. I know a while back Cyphers had to drop out of the fight because I think somebody in her camp or she did tested positive with COVID. I forgot. That's been a while ago. Then there's Corey McKenna, and she just recently had a fight some time ago against Kay Hansen. And I think that would be a good fight. Both of them are up and coming prospects. I think, you know, her second fight and maybe, first fight for Luana. I also have another opponent. How about Luana? Excuse me. How about Emily Ducote? And as you know, her opponent, former opponent, Maserata Ruiz, is now supposed to be fighting Cheyenne Buys this weekend. And they was originally supposed to be fighting for the UFC the Invictus strawweight title, but now that Ruiz is now fighting over in the UFC, he might as well pick up Dakota. I mean, what's the point of sitting over there in Invicta and they're not even fighting yet? And he originally was supposed to fight for a title, but you know, you fight in Invicta, you fight over UFC, you get paid more as a UFC starting like on the bottom 15 than having the Invicta strawweight title. But anyway, I want to give my hearts out to Randa Marcos because as I speak about how I feel about COVID, how it affected my family, and I hope it's not too severe. In no way, I feel like seem like the virus is not getting as bad as it was before in the first years, but still, people who have any kind of serious conditions, it still affects them. And like I said, she's still a young woman. She keeps herself in good shape, and maybe we might see her, back in the octagon maybe in a few months. I would say I would tell this: anybody who gets COVID, you got to do this. You, the best thing to do is make sure you go see a doctor, see a ear, throat, and special ear, throat specialist. See internal specialist because that thing can really do some scarring on your lungs and on your other organs. So before you think about getting back in the ring and try to fight maybe even 3 5-minute rounds, you really want to see how good is your breathing, your intake. I mean, some people may not have a severe cases, but still, this thing is awful. So I think the best advice for her right now is to take some time off, relax. If the UFC cuts you, hey, fine. As always, Bellator. There's always other organizations that can use a good fighter like her. So I hope the best for Quiet Storm. Get your rest, take care of yourself, and and make sure that you just come back safe. It's your man, Aloe George Page. Like, don't like, subscribe, don't subscribe. I'm out.